No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Urias to Adames. Call strike 3! The Dodgers win! Finally, the wait is over. The Dodgers are the champions of 2020 in a year like no other, where joy has been so hard to come by. Tonight, tears of joy, let them flow. Tonight, there is joy in Mudville. The curse of 88 is 88 and out the gate, and the Dodgers are celebrating out in the middle of the field between home plate and the pitcher's mound. The Dodgers, for the first time since 1988, 32 seasons, are the champions of baseball.
California.
The city of LA is partying tonight. We are celebrating the Dodgers' first World Series title in 32 years, man. Donald, Sonny, are you guys pumped or what?
Dude,
I'm pumped.
I'm pumped for y'all, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Pumped for the city. Yeah, what a year, man. What a year. It's like 1988 all over again, dude.
Right?
Lakers and
Pretty
Dodgers on top of the world, right?
We're partying like it's 1988 right now. I mean, the city needs it. This is for the city. This is for us, for Dodger fans. But but for the city as a whole, man, for all of LA, we all need it right now. Going through the 2020 year that we're going through with COVID, with the passing of Kobe back in the beginning of the year, and with the whole civil unrest that's going on, with the election year that's going on, it is so needed right now. This is the one glimmer of hope that the city absolutely needed. Donald, man, as a fellow Dodger fan, how hyped are you right now?
Man, I'm really excited, dude. I know I don't show it the way you do, but man, I'm like one of those internal guys that I get emotionally hyped internally. Man, throughout the game, I was pretty nervous, so I'm not gonna lie. So when it happened right now, like this euphoric feeling, it's real, man. So definitely, man, I just it's crazy. It's 32 years is a long time, so I think that's why it means a little bit more. You know what I mean? 32 years is just wow. You know, I know Liverpool won it last season for the Premier League, and people were going crazy because I know it's been probably just as long or something like that, but. Now I know what that feels like. It feels weird, but it feels really, really good to finally get that monkey off your back, man.
I mean, as Lakers and Dodger fans, we're kind of spoiled because having seen now 6 Lakers championships, it kind of feels like, oh, championship is kind of what we do here in LA. But in the baseball realm, we haven't seen this. I mean, I was 5 years old last time the Dodgers won the World Series. I don't remember it. So I've only seen heartbreak. I know I'm old, Sonny. I know I'm old. But it's like I didn't see it as like an adult or even somebody who has a good memory of it. And so to see this happen today, man, I was yelling at my TV throughout this series, man, since last time we recorded last Sunday when they made it to the World Series, when they beat the Atlanta Braves, which is another tough series. And we knew this was going to be a tough series going into it. I didn't think it was going to be this tough where the Dodgers had to win not 4 games, but 5 games. That's right. I said they won 5 games because they gave away a game to the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, that's how good this Dodger team is. That's right. The team of 2020, the team of COVID, the team of the pandemic, the team of the craziest year in all of sports history is your LA Dodgers, and it couldn't have been anybody else. I know, Sonny, you're so happy right now that our Dodgers, they're your adopted team right now because your Mariners, haven't made the playoffs in a while, but you're National League team, right? They're your National League team, right, Sonny? Be honest. Let it all out today. Let it all out. Come to the Dodger Blue Promised Land, the true baseball team, the true greatest team of all of baseball history, the 2020 LA Dodgers. Give it up.
You're putting me in a real tough spot right now, Alex. You have no idea, man. Like I've been there, not in a baseball standpoint, but as a Lakers fan, I've been in your shoes. I know what that euphoria is like. And the last thing you want is somebody to come and just try to kill your high, right?
It's not going to happen. You can try.
You're fishing, man. You're tempting. You're tempting because you're speaking some nonsense. You're speaking some nonsense. Donald, I appreciate your modesty here. I appreciate your perspective. I think it makes it easy for guys like me to root for guys like you. Okay. Now, Alex, on the other hand, okay, I swear, are you sure you're not part of the Pantone or Pantone, group, the douchebaggery that is the Pantone? Yes, and I said it. It's on record. Okay, come at me.
For sure.
But look, I'm gonna let you get away with some nonsense here in the spirit of enjoying this title.
Thank you.
But just be careful, okay? We still have
tread lightly.
Yes, we have a fiduciary responsibility as a serious sports podcast here.
I love that term,
to make sure we get it right, and let's not get a little carried away. So enjoy the W. I think it's awesome. I really, just as a neutral in this series, right? To answer your question, Alex, I technically don't have a second team, man. I'm loyal to my first team, like a loyal dog, unfortunately, to my only team. But
awesome.
But it makes it beautiful to not have a second team because it literally means I can just enjoy the sport every year, seemingly, when my team is out of it. So, for instance, Game 5, which I'm sure we'll dive into, to me was a magnificent game, right? I can only imagine what that was for Dodger. Oh, I'm sorry, not Game 5. Game 4
Yes.
was a magnificent game, and I can imagine the heartbreak and the hair pulling that went on from Dodger fans' perspective, and the euphoria that Rays, albeit temporarily, were feeling, at the end of that game. So it was nice. It was a good series. It was great playoffs. So I'm happy as a neutral for guys like Kershaw, for guys like Jansen, because I'm not as emotionally invested in these guys. So, like I warned last week that I've kept all these receipts.
Yes.
And in the name of being transparent with our audience, I can share some of those receipts. From some of our fellow Dodger fans here, specifically one Mr. Alex Gonzalez, who after Game 4, wait, let's go to the phone here. I don't want to twist your words.
Oh, I love that you're gonna play audio clips.
But no, it's not audio. I just want to make sure I get it
text?
verbatim. But I think it was after the shenanigans of Game 4. The game that you say the Dodgers still technically won was as one of their.
They should have won
5 wins,
but they gave it away.
I think Alex and Donald, correct me if I'm wrong here. I need you to corroborate this for us.
If you're gonna I love the way you're not paraphrasing. You're gonna give me the actual quote, and I will stand by this quote.
Said, and I have to dig through the stupid ass quote. So.
You have a folder of my stupid ass quote.
Yeah, I have to. Oh man, obviously we're going to edit this, but for the listeners out there, we have a long chain of back and forth text messages.
We group chat with all of our buddies from our day job, and we are a fun group.
Yes.
The nonsense they spouts off in there is pretty good. Donald obviously with the actual stats, and the rest of us just with and Sonny obviously with the voice of reason usually most of the time. Right. I'll be honest, but me and other guys just spouting off with the mouth usually.
Just
in that
popping off. Okay, here we go. We're almost there. I'm on Saturday. Okay,
digging through it.
Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's see. The meltdown started.
Here we go.
Let's see.
Right after,
here we go.
It's right after the whole bottom of the ninth walk-off Tampa win.
To paraphrase, it was, I think I chimed in with what just happened. This was fresh off of the Rosarena stumble into home plate, right? That tied the series up at 2 games.
The whole Tampa Rays stumbling into a game 6.
Correct. That tied the series at 2 games apiece. And as I scroll down, there's Alex Gonzo right there. I'm done. I can't anymore.
That's right.
And we continue. Kershaw is going to get roped tomorrow.
Right.
Rays in 6.
Right.
And we continue.
Please
Alex posts an only pain image, and he said, "Subscribe to my Dodger fan account." And then
it's the OnlyFans logo, but it says only pain.
and then
That's so great.
And then he says, "We will never," and
That's
he capitalized.
All caps.
Capitalized never. We will never see our Dodgers win a World Series. I fucking hate it. I accept it though. Fuck.
You know what that was? Go ahead. There's still more. Go for it.
That was it. So
that's
here
called
we are.
The reverse Alex jinx. It worked. I knew it was gonna happen. I'm Mark Henry. I fooled y'all. You thought I was retiring? You thought I was gonna retire?
You accused me of being on some heelish shit, and if that's not some heel shit, you just gloating here and burying the Rays in the process.
Hook, line, and sinker. I worked you. That's some WWE, AEW. You got worked.
Yep.
Something Vince McMahon would be proud of, dude.
Yeah.
What's up, Sonny? Oh, what's up, Donald?
I said it's something Vince McMahon would be proud of.
Yeah, man.
God, it was me, Austin. It was me the whole time. No, in all honesty, man, that I think Donald, you said it best. It was that Game 4, man. Gut punch. I mean,
yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah, I think that it's crazy to think that it happened, 4 days ago? It's very memorable.
And you know what's so crazy? I genuinely felt that way because as we were talking earlier, Sonny, at our day job, that from 2008 up until now, I've just been convinced that because 2008, I thought was the Dodgers' best chance to win the World Series. They had Manny. They had this team that felt like they were going to get over the hump finally. And when they didn't do it, when they lost to the Phillies, and the Phillies go on to beat I believe they beat these Tampa. No, did they beat these Tampa Bay Rays? They did, right?
They did.
And they lost in 2009 to the Yankees.
Not these Tampa Bay Rays, but yes, they beat
the franchise with the Tampa
correct.
Bay Rays. Correct. All right. They didn't have Randy Arroz on that team.
Correct.
So it's just like it felt like the Dodgers would always get close, but not close enough, not get over the hump. And it just felt, and after that loss, it just felt like maybe they'll just never get there. Like, man, it's just not in the cards for them ever to get there. I remember, if you think I'm drunk off the celebration now, I was equally as drunk after that game, after that loss, and I was full of frustration. And I'm so lucky I have the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Iron Paradise out here in the garage, where I had to go out there and lift weights because I was just so upset. I had to get the frustration out because I didn't want to punch a hole in my wall. So at least if I lift some weights, that would help me get over this. And then I woke up the next morning, hungover still, and ran 6 miles because I was still frustrated over that loss. There was nothing that was going to help me get over that. And then I text you guys in that same group chat. If you look, I sent you, let's be positive. There's still hope. I sent you the WWE New Day theme song, the power of positivity. Like, this is going to happen. Kershaw is going to get better. I needed to mentally prepare, get in the right mental positive state. And the Dodgers did the same thing. Kershaw didn't have the greatest outing, but good enough. Good enough to get the offense going.
I think I know what happened. I think... there was some footage sent to me, or some audio, and it was Alex on the phone with Kevin Cash. I guess Kevin Cash called you in advance, and he said, "Don't worry, my friend. Don't worry. If this gets too close for comfort, I'll find a way to blow this.
Oh my God!
I'll find a way. There's a path for you guys to breathe easily."
You know
and
what
he delivered. He delivered.
I did talk to Kevin Cash last night, and I sent him a movie to watch on Netflix. It's called Moneyball. And I told him, hey, watch this and do what this guy does the exact same way.
I thought you sent him previous year's Dave Roberts tapes. thought you said it's what you said.
That too, he could have just. I sent them all the YouTube clips of that.
It literally was a page taken out of Dave Roberts'
right
epic playbook that now is. But speaking of Dave Roberts, okay, let's
celebrate. Let's stop being so negative. It's positive
but
now.
let's carry this forward. As we review. Obviously, for those who maybe didn't watch this game somehow for some reason today,
5 people.
The reason why we're referring to Kevin Cash here is because there was something mind-boggling that happened in this game that this man will never let down. And that was in the 5th inning? Sixth inning.
No, 5th inning.
Well, 6th inning because he didn't complete the inning because I was thinking, wait, he pitched 5 innings in a third or 5 innings. Yeah. But
it was
he
in the
came
middle
out
of
for
the
the
6th inning. Yes.
6th inning with 1 out. With 1 out, yes, because the first batter swung at the first pitch and popped up. Your number 9 hitter comes up to bat, Austin Barnes. Mind you, Blake Snell was dealing. I mean, he was dealing more than Buehler had been dealing in this series, more than any other pitcher had been dealing in this series. And had given up 1 hit. I think it was to Chris Taylor in the 3rd inning. That was all. Yeah. Had 9 strikeouts up until this point. And not just of the 9 strikeouts, mind you. The batters 1, 2, and 3 were 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts each. So 6 of his 9 were against the top of your lineup, the Dodgers lineup. And so he gives up the hit to the number 9 hitter, which means your number 1 hitter, the top of the lineup, Mookie Betts, is up to plate. And without even any hesitation, Kevin Cash jumps out of his seat and says, I've seen enough. And he calls for the reliever. It is one of the dumbest, wildest, analytical decisions I have ever witnessed a manager make in this situation with this much at stake. Yeah. You thought the game 4 was a botch of epic proportions, right? At least it was the players who botched it on the field, right?
Right, yeah.
It wasn't Dave Roberts doing. I mean, you could argue, oh, well, why did he put Jansen in, blah, 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 but let's be honest, what actually transpired on the field were mistakes made by the players. Yeah. So in this situation, the manager literally said, hold my beer.
That's such a great line. Yeah. I can't believe it. I mean,
and that was it. That was it. When all of the Dodgers lineup, everybody in the stadium, everybody in Dodgers universe, everybody watching this game is taking either, depending on where you stand. If you're a Dodgers fan, you're taking this huge sigh of relief, like, oh my God. And then if you're, let's say, a Rays fan or just a baseball fan, you're thinking, what the fuck is going on? That means you botched this, Kevin Cash. And and again, it's not taken away from, I'm not trying to take away from the Dodgers here.
Of course not. No,
I think both things can be equal here in this sense. The Dodgers still had to capitalize on the bullpen that is the Rays and take advantage of this mistake. But man, if I were a fan of that team right now, I don't know if I could even get on a microphone right now. Geez, dude, like it was wild. It was something to see, and luckily, I mean, it happened. It paid off. Dodgers capitalized. Mookie clutch.
They didn't hesitate either.
Yeah.
Like literally that inning is when it all turned around.
Right there.
Up 2-1.
That was it.
And that's it.
I think I texted the group right there and then. I said,
yeah, you called it.
That's it. It's a wrap.
From the 2-1. From the 2-1, it didn't even so you were unbiased, you don't have a dog in the fight here.
Nope.
But as a Dodger fan from 2-1, it doesn't feel like it's over. I mean, seeing the series play out, it doesn't feel like it's over yet. Mookie hitting that home run, I believe it was the bottom of the 8th.
No, bottom of the 8th. Mm-hmm.
That's when it felt like it was over. That's when I know, okay, 3 outs to go. This is wrapped. Yeah. And I thought Mookie was going to win the MVP. Turns out Corey Seager wins the MVP. deservedly so. I mean, you could have given it to 4 different guys here. You could have given it to Seager. You could have given it to Kershaw. You could have given it to Muncy, even Turner. By the way, Turner got taken out.
Oh, we'll talk about this. Yes,
we got to talk about this.
So this is a whole other conversation.
About 20 minutes ago from when we started taping here. Turner says, "Thanks to everyone reaching out. I felt great. No symptoms at all. Just experienced every emotion you can possibly imagine. Can't believe I couldn't be out there to celebrate with my guys.
I feel for that guy, man.
So proud of this team and unbelievably happy for the city of LA. Hashtag World Series.
That's
you know what
wild.
that means? You know what that means? Turner's re-upping 1 more year, and we got to win it again next year.
No.
That's it?
No. So you're getting carried. So you're getting carried
the
away.
LA Dodgers 2021, the sequel. Write it out, Hollywood script writers. Come on.
You're getting carried away here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm drunk with the Dodgers championship, man. Let me enjoy tonight.
And it's not that I'm saying that the Dodgers can't win 2021, but if your move is re-signing Justin Turner, I could guarantee you that is not the move to make.
We'll get into. We should probably get into that, but I feel so terrible for Justin Turner, man. On this,
I feel bad for him as a lifelong Dodger fan to finally have this moment as a Dodger player now. Yeah. And a vet of this team who carried this team for many of those years to not be able to celebrate. But at the same time, it's hard to have sympathy for this dude because he got COVID. You know what I mean?
But how though? I gotta know how. I mean, they're in a bubble, dude.
No, they're not in a
bubble.
They're not in a perfect bubble. It's not. Let's not act like this is the NBA where it's Orlando and people. I mean, there's fans in the fucking stadium. So,
okay. But what is he going to throw? Is he throwing are the balls being thrown back to him? How does he catch COVID?
It doesn't matter. You know how this virus works. You, of all people, know how this virus works.
Me, as all people who has tested positive one time, who is currently antibody with COVID. So
now, here's the wild...
I got to get out of COVID free pass right now.
Here's the wild thing, and this is the mind-boggling. This World Series literally had everything, man, up until the very last inning, right? With this Kenley,
right?
with this
That's so true.
With this Justin Turner diagnosis.
At the 9th inning, right? I believe they brought Edwin Rios in for the 9th inning.
It was in the 8th inning, actually. Edwin Rios. Okay. Yeah, they yanked him in the 8th with no explanation. Nobody knew why Turner.
We don't know if it's Joe Buck was like, we don't know if it's an injury. We don't know what.
Yeah, until the very end of the game, right?
Yes.
Which in my mind was intentional. There was people obviously there who knew, but they didn't want to announce that. And it would have watered everything down in the moment right away, because. Mm-hmm. In a sense, let's think about this. This actually highlights even more how big of a fuck up Kevin Cash made here, because let's just chew on this for a second.
Okay.
Let's say the Rays win this game.
Yeah.
And it turns out Justin Turner tested positive for Rona.
Wow. Yeah.
Guess what? Let's say another Dodger or two test positive for the Rona. What does that mean? Is Game 7 played tomorrow like it was scheduled, with the Dodgers being down maybe 1, if not 2 of their starters, potentially more? Who knows what we know here? Yeah. Is Game 7
that's what would happen.
But if Walker Buehler ends up testing positive, how do you have a Game 7 tomorrow? Yeah, you're right.
This is wild, man. So the MLB, the Dodgers did Manfred, ironically, of all people, a solid here by actually winning the series tonight and clinching it, because this would have blown up in his face. So it's just crazy to me that as I'm still processing this, like,
yeah,
how did you allow this to happen, and you don't pull the guy until the 8th inning? Like, it's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We're still waiting on a lot of those details,
and not just that.
That's definitely gonna have to come out. Like, in terms of like, why did the communication lag as much as it did? Like, there has to be. They're gonna ask questions.
It's not gonna come out though. It's not gonna come out. I mean, if we learned anything about this commissioner and how he runs.
Yeah, but this is coronavirus. I mean, even the NFL had to do they weren't going to stop the Patriots from playing. They just told Cam Newton, you can't play this week, and that's what happened.
Here's what's wild to me, right? And again, we've talked on this podcast about when we first started this podcast, right? We talked about it coincided with coronavirus and the unknown that was coronavirus with sports and these bubbles and these experiments. Yeah. How is it that all okay, we were informed as an audience at the very, very tail end of the game that Justin Turner was pulled due to Rona, and yet we still see everybody out there celebrating. And you're having this trophy presentation and stuff like that. And to me, it felt a little bit reckless. I get the euphoria of it. I get wow, we just won. What do you expect them not? It's wait a minute. Which one's more important though here? You know what I mean? If
it almost feels like the timing was not the best. Exactly. Maybe they should have saved it for tomorrow and been like, hey, we found out this. But for whatever reason, they wanted to bring it in. But they wanted to bring it in as a breaking news story. Yeah. And then you kind of now start thinking about, well, for me at least, I started thinking about, okay, did Fox have an influence in this decision? Because they're the broadcasters. And they probably thought, well, we can't afford to stop broadcasting now. You know what I mean? And especially because you think of Fox and their whole thing. So it's kind of you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a lot of variables. And I feel like this is going to be something that... if they don't have a clean alibi right now, if they're not thinking of that, then I don't know. It's going to be tricky.
But here's the thing, though, right? Okay, I feels like they were trying to sneak it in, right? The fact that they announced it after the game ended, right? And they cut back from commercial, and it was oh, Kevin Burke. By the way, the reason why Justin Turner was pulled out inexplicably was because he had COVID-19. Here's the post-game ceremony. You know what I mean? It was
I didn't even catch it.
That's what I'm saying.
I got it from the group chat.
But I feel like
I caught it. I saw it.
It feels like, well, that's why I said Justin Turner gave Kevin Cash the Rona.
Yeah, I did not hear it. I was busy celebrating.
That's what I'm saying.
I was jumping around my house.
They knew that was going to be happening. They knew either people were going to be, if you're a Rays fan, you're upset and you're not even watching TV anymore. Right. Or if you're a Dodgers fan, you're celebrating. You're not even listening to the TV anymore.
Right. You're waiting for the ceremony.
But I feel like also, again, a part of me feels disappointed also in the Dodgers because that Justin Turner tested positive. You can't tell me that you didn't know. And how are you still fucking out there with families, right? Like you see the wives and the kids out there. Kershaw's kissing his wife and the baby, and it's how the fuck you guys just found out that one of your players who's not wearing a mask or any shit like that, who's been playing the whole game, breathing hard, God knows, you don't know if he's tested. If anybody else, yes, granted, maybe it turns out tomorrow, wink, wink, it was a false positive. Yeah. Maybe, for MLB's sake, you better hope that's what it fucking is. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not, it was reckless all around. It was reckless. There's no excusing it. It was reckless all around. It just spits in the face of everything that we say we've been taking serious about this virus. But we take it serious only until it inconveniences us, right? If it gets in the way of our team celebrating, then fuck this virus. That's where it's come on, guys. Which one is it? So I had a hard time with that.
Yeah,
exactly.
There
you
go,
Donald.
You're showing Donald. Yeah, he got out there for the team photo, according to Jack Harris.
Which is fucking stupid.
He's wearing a mask.
But at the same time, it's kind of you kind of had to expect that from sports.
Yeah.
I get it. For as much as we want to do precautions and stuff, this is the dirty, the dark side of it. That you had to expect that when something like this would happen, that especially for leagues like the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL, we're not gonna do the MLS thing of Dallas, you're just out of the tournament. You know what I mean? That would be the thing to do. That would be the right thing to do. MLS can afford to do that because they're a smaller league, and it's
But they were also in a bubble. They were also technically in a
exactly.
bubble at the time.
And even with the bubble, they were well, guess Nashville and Dallas can't join us. And that's how it was. But the NBA, they let players have time off and come back even if they tested positive, and as long as they were able to come back for whatever thing. So there was always going to be some sort of workaround, and I think that if anything, it just teaches us as society, as sports fans, that this is the dark part of it. That it's the tough thing to talk about is that for as much as I know they want, and we can get deep into this even with the NFL on the whole BLM and racism stuff and how much do they really mean behind it and all that, because it jumps into various things in terms of like intentions and safety and what they really care about. And at the end of the day, it's never about that. It's they just want to say that, but it's never really about that.
It's indefensible, in my opinion. Yeah. What transpired there at the end. Like, it's indefensible. You cannot sit here again unless you absolutely are certain that it was a false positive. There's no defense for it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm with you. I mean, I also know you always have to err on the side of caution. Anytime you get a positive test, even if it is false.
I mean, think about it. The same exact situation shut down the NBA season in its tracks, right? And why was that? Why was it that the Utah Jazz, when they found out that a player later to be learned, Rudy Gobert, tested positive for the Rona, that everybody had to evacuate, right?
Yeah.
And yet here in the MLB, you saw the completely opposite thing. Now, again, I know it's so hard because the team just won a hard-fought championship, but at least let them go and celebrate it privately, right? Like, just close doors. If they want to assume those risks themselves, fine. But why are you still like pretending like it's okay? Like, let's not talk about it. Like, you know, if you don't see it, it didn't happen, kind of, you know.
Yeah,
you know what?
That was also at the same time too with the whole shutdown in March. We didn't know what we know now, and the thing is that like now they're gonna come with all this defense. I'm sure they have a bunch of lawyers ready to go for whatever is gonna happen now.
It's not gonna affect anybody because unless of course a fan tests positive. But I'm sure when they allowed,
they probably signed waivers.
Exactly,
Dude.
I'm sure when they allowed fans in here, they signed their waiver to say, hey, if you get sick, you can't hold MLB Live. So
yeah.
Again, it's
every shady thing you could think of is probably had been in the works already.
Yeah, exactly,
so
exactly.
It's tough, and I totally get where you're coming from, man. And I totally feel like it's so unfair too. But at the same time, it's just same thing with the election stuff. It's like you can't expect it to be what you want it to be. It's just unfortunately that's just the way the cookie crumbled, I guess, and it just sucks. But
I still blame AJ Hinch and Carlos Correa for this positive COVID test. I think they were behind it. I don't think Turner actually tested positive. I think it was the Houston Astros. I still blame them for this false positive test. There's no way Justin Turner tested positive.
I agree. Blame the Astros for everything. I second that.
At the end of the day, we're always going to blame the Astros for everything.
If anything else fails, blame the Astros. I'm cool with that, but... Yeah. But it was just, and again, I'm not trying to put a damper, but we have to, as we're talking about what transpired in this,
this
in
is
this
huge.
Game.
No, it is.
That's why Turner wasn't out there.
It's an ongoing thing. Like we're still gonna get more details, and I'm sure next week we'll probably come back to this whole story again.
And there's a lot of fans and Latinos out there, and I say Latinos obviously because the three of us are Latinos, and we know who also listens to this podcast, who are just like, the Rona, they have their own beliefs and theories about the Rona, et cetera, and they still go on and do their own things and take their own risks. I get that, but it's just tough when it feels hypocritical at least in some ways.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't feel. It is hypocritical. Like it's just like
it's like,
you know,
because
like the MLB should take responsibility.
Yeah. And I feel like us as fans of the sport. And I'm not a Dodger fan per se, but as fans of the sports, it's like we can't turn a blind eye just because like we're happy that something positive happened. Look, it wasn't going to change the fact that the Dodgers won the World Series. That's not going to be taken away. But it's like, all right. Just you know, take away the celebration for a second. You know, like.
And real quick to speak to Latinos who are kind of this on the fence about the Rona and all that. As somebody who had the Rona, you don't want that. That's some fucked up stuff, dude. It sucks. You do not want that in your life. Do what you can to avoid it. Wear your mask. Wash your hands, socially distance when at all possible, because it is a messed up, depending on hopefully your system is strong enough to fight it, it is a messed up week and a half that you have to deal with, fight your body fighting that Rona. So avoid it. Avoid it at all costs, man. It sucks. But let's still celebrate tonight.
Yeah. So anyways, aside from that, that little
the Dodgers
side
did win the World Series tonight.
Yes.
The first time in 32 years. So now can they avoid another 32-year drought and avoid the 12-month drought and win it next year? What pieces do they need to put together to win it again next year, Donald? Because we got to go. as an LA sports fan, the Lakers, they seem to always win it in 2s and 3s like we're used to. We want the Dodgers to do the same now. We want the Dodgers to win back-to-back, three-peat, create that dynasty.
I mean, the last team to do that was the Yankees, right? To win back-to-back titles.
And we get criticized for being the Yankees of the West now because of the
that's,
payroll.
I don't think you guys.
Payroll.
I mean,
only
payroll.
Yes, only because of the payroll, not the actual success on the field with titles. But as far as payroll goes, Yankees of the West, the Dodgers, can they do it again next year? Donald, what do they need to do? What pieces need to be removed? What pieces need to be added for the Dodgers to repeat next year?
I think for sure just solidifying the pitching a little bit more. It was really shaky that we didn't have a third solid guy, which I now feel like should be Julio Urias.
Yes, absolutely.
I just think that like that dude proved himself to be number 3 behind Buehler and Kershaw. So that would be great to just kind of like give him those keys at this point, because he's been playing in and out with the bullpen, and I almost feel like they never really give him his dues, and they hype him up so much, which is the other thing I don't like. It's like, don't hype up somebody if you're not really going to give them like their spot. You know what I mean? Like, give them their flowers while they're here type of thing. Yeah. And I think that would be great if they could get like a fourth guy, so that would be really good. I think in 2017.
Well, hopefully that's David Price.
That was the thing. Yeah, I know we didn't have Price, so that's kind of where the question mark was with that. But hopefully next season, if they're able to have a more normal, feeling season, and if all the players can come into agreement of doing it all over again, knowing the risks that they're going to be getting themselves into, then Price would be the number 4 guy, or number 3 or 4, depending on how good he is versus Urias. And then as far as the hitting goes, I just would love to see this Dodger team not get rid of this whole launch angle style that they have. Like, I would want them to be more hitting it on the ground and just, getting guys on base and bringing them home and making that a habit. For as much as I know they have a habit of wanting to hit home runs, and you see Jock Peterson talking about they don't want the smoke and all this stuff. It's just like, at some point, it's like, okay, dude, but if you're not hitting the home run, it's just an easy pop fly. And now you made that other pitcher have like an easy out, have an easy inning. So definitely, hopefully they get to change that.
Sonny, what do you think the Dodgers need to really improve on?
Well, as we've talked about, just like we talked about with the Lakers, right, about how they would have to retool, right, to go back to back. The Dodgers also have some retooling to do, I think, to have the opportunity to be back here in October, especially in a league and a conference, a league that is the National League, that is going to be tough again, man. With the Padres lurking and the Braves going to be right there again. I still think the Dodgers are still the class of the NL, but they're going to have to retool. I think you start with, saying goodbyes, your peaceful goodbyes with COVID Turner, and saying thank you for all the years.
Yeah,
you got your title. I think the move there is to move Seager to third. Go get yourself Francisco Lindor, man. He's been a rumor for a couple seasons now. I think now is the time for you guys to pull the trigger. He's your new shortstop. That's a formidable lineup, man. If you have Lindor, Mookie, Belly, Seager, murderer's row. So and they're all young. They'd all be young. So on top of that, I know the problem is the Dodgers are not big spenders these days. But I'd like to see them go get Trevor Bauer. And maybe, I mean, Kershaw proved he can stick around. He's still serviceable. Yeah. He's still not just, I'd say more than serviceable. He got that monkey off his back. And so I think with Buehler, Kershaw, and Bauer, your bullpen, I think, is set. It's just a matter of identifying, like Donald said, kind of who that closer and setup guy is going to be. I don't know if baseball is moving in a direction where they're moving away from the quote unquote traditional closer, and they're going based off of analytics more than anything else. I mean, today we saw Urias get 3-inning save, which
and
it worked.
Cool.
And it worked, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the Dodgers just have a couple moves to make, not too many. Just a couple moves to make, but I do think the Lindor piece makes the most sense. At the moment, I would call you guys, I think, Alex, you referred to you guys as a powerhouse. I thought that was a little bit of a overestimation. Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Because at the moment, you guys have proven now to be the Atlanta Braves of the 90s. If you recall, the Braves won, if you don't count the strike season, the Braves won 14 consecutive divisional titles. They went to 5 World Series in that span, but they won 1 title.
Right. You're right.
So at the moment,
math checks out.
Yeah, at the moment, you are on par with those Atlanta Braves. I mean, your trajectory is on the same, which, you know, if you win a second one, though, you're above that Braves team. You've proven, hey, it's a mini dynasty, as you referred to earlier. So, do I think they could do it? Absolutely. Is it going to be tough? Tougher than it was this year? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Because this year was so unique, man. And I had like some Angel friends who were in group texts with Dodger friends, and already one of them was popping off saying asterisk on this title. Blah, blah, blah. I was the first one to come to the defense and be like, nah, get the fuck out of here. This is not an asterisk title. The Astros title is an asterisk title.
Thank you.
But this one is not. If anything, it's like the Lakers one. It should have an asterisk, but for so many different reasons. Not because it was
that cross kind of that you see in Wikipedia.
Exactly. It should have a footnote. It should have a footnote that says this World Series was the most unique World Series of all time. Is it worth any less or any more? No, it's worth just as much. It was just unique, you know? So it'd be interesting, though, in a full baseball season to see, you know, hopefully we're able to get that come next season to see how it's played out. Because, you know, 162 games versus 60, it changes everything, man, the way pitchers are used. I mean, I think the short season bailed Dave Roberts from making catastrophic moves? Absolutely. Did he try to test it? Definitely. So I think for instance the short season benefited somebody like Kershaw, who normally you have to save, and it's the long season, and then in October, you know, he's gassed out and the back problems are flaring up, even though they did this time kind of. He wasn't as taxed this time as he would be in a full season, which maybe led to his resurgence, maybe led to him feeling fresher, like, I got it, I'm sharper. Who knows? But it'll be a curious thing to see, man. But we'll see. That's why you watch the sports being played, man.
Absolutely. As I look through free agents, I'm mainly looking for Latin and people of color surnames here, because the issue with the Dodgers in this postseason, I felt what was going on, they lacked a fun and a swagger on the field that we saw from the Padres and the Atlanta Braves in those series that the Dodgers didn't have. They had the whole no barrels, barrels are overrated thing, the Cody Ballinger Salt Bay thing, which was not as cool as just the funness of the Slam Diego going on, the whole just Atlanta Braves.
Rosarena.
It was fun to see the opposing teams have more fun on the field whenever they get a base hit or run in scoring position. With the Dodgers, they just kind of go on about their business, which I can appreciate too as a traditional baseball fan, as a purist, if you will. But I want to see fun, dude. It's baseball. What's up?
I think you're tiptoeing around the problem here, right?
The issue is that we have to start a hashtag here. Hashtag Dodgers so white.
Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, when you look at that lineup, when you look at the starting lineup, it's Mookie Betts is the only person of color on there. You got Corey Seager. You got Max Muncy. Then you got, you got Justin Turner. Then you got Max Muncy. Then you got Cody Bellinger. Then you got Will Smith. Then you got
Chris Taylor.
I mean,
Corey Seager. Yeah, everybody but Mookie in your starting lineup.
I mean,
Mookie was a new addition, mind you.
Yeah, and then you got Kike, who's Boricua there. You got Puerto Rican there, but all the Latino arms are in the Dodgers bullpen. That's it. You got Urias, you got Victor Gonzalez, you got Grazal. Fuck, I can't pronounce his name right
Gratterall.
now. Gratterall there.
Gratterall.
And then and that's it. Jansen, you got him there, but I mean, you kind of forget him now because he didn't pitch since Game 5.
Yeah, but for those relief pitchers that you just listed, you have Tranian, you have what's his name, Joe Kelly, Alex Wood. So it's
Laurel.
This was something that stood out to me in the second series against the Padres. It was so vivid to me how that I never had realized before is how white this team was. And we don't say that as a negative connotation. We don't mean it entirely as a negative connotation. But let's face it, LA, that is not representative.
It's a very diverse city.
That is not representative of who LA is.
Very diverse city, mainly Latino, which, I mean, from all walks of the Latino area. I mean, throughout the world, throughout Latin America. And you want some diversity on that team that represents the city on the roster, and they just don't have it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist on that team. So
it'd be nice to have.
What can the front office do? What can the front office really do, right?
Comes down to scouting, right? I mean, we also have to think about the farm system since they do pull a lot of their guys from there, and scouting. Yeah.
I mean,
and the front office too, making the decisions to want a more diverse roster.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if their analytics, how they determine their analytics, if there's a little footnote for that. Oh, person of color. I don't understand. I don't know.
It's kind of crazy, right? Because you think about it, you know the importance of representation and diversity, but then you don't want to push it to the point where you're only doing it because of that. And then you get into like this affirmative action thing that, can be a little bit like, well, you want good players too.
Absolutely. So. But I think it can be accomplished, especially in baseball, and I'll give you an example of this, right? And Alex, you may not like this one, but it's the fact of the matter. This is how this team was built. Right next door, when they were building a brand new team by the name of LAFC, they made it a point. I'm not kidding you. They made it a point to sign players of diverse backgrounds because they wanted to make sure that the city identified with the team, not beyond the brand. They wanted the product on the field. They wanted people from all walks of life who are here in California, specifically in Los Angeles, to be able to show up to a soccer game and be like, that dude looks like me and he's pretty good, right? Or he's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it was, obviously Carlos Vela being the big designated signing because of what he means to Latinos here.
The Mexican magician.
Correct. Thank you. Put some respect on that name. And then they signed the likes of Uruguayan. Then they signed a Canadian. Then they
Diego
signed
Rossi.
Then they signed someone from Ghana. Then they signed Lin Win, who's Asian.
Right.
But this was intentional.
No, that's smart.
And so. And therefore, when you do go to these games, you feel more like connected with that team. And baseball, let's face it, it's America's pastime, meaning it's been around longer than our folks have been around in this country. Right.
Over 100 years.
But I happen to enjoy, for instance, as a fellow Latino, when I see my other fellow Latinos, whatever team they're playing for, that get hyped, that are bringing flash to the game and play with the passion, right? Because they're representing how we live our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
there's a passion that has to be involved in the game too.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't come across sometimes with some Caucasian players.
Correct.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, even African American players, don't have it as well. It depends how they're brought up. Latinos, we have a different passion and a struggle that when we succeed, we let it out. We let that emotion out.
Yeah,
and so it just doesn't come through sometimes.
And that's why I'm a big anti-unwritten rules dude of baseball.
I agree.
You know, I'm a baseball purist, quote unquote, but I'm also a progressive. You know, in that sense, like how can you make the game even more fun or entertaining without jeopardizing the spirit of the game. But there's nothing wrong with having fun. It's a kid's game that you're playing. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah. I appreciate the workmanlike attitude. Trust me, when I grew up playing the game, like it was always business for me. Like in secret, it would be like, you know, secret handshakes and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But you wouldn't flip your hat. You wouldn't flip your hat backwards, and yet my favorite player of all time was known for wearing his hat backwards. Respect to Ken Griffey Jr., man, for making the game fun, for making it cool, like wanting that dude's cleats, wanting to play like him, swing like him, right? And so there is value to that, and it would be nice. It attracts
a younger audience. That's what you're trying to do. Preserve the game for the new generation.
Yeah.
I mean, the purists are going to be there for the game itself, right? And they're going to expect those unwritten rules, if you will. But you're not going to attract a younger audience unless you have this fun product to watch. And that's why you want those kids to be fun on the field, not just, you know, contribute, hit the long ball, and score the runs, but do it with style points.
Like I liked Puig. You know what I mean? Like I get it. He would make some knucklehead plays here and there, but
shout out to the wild horse.
But the dude played with a passion, you know, for the most part that was appealing to me. So when Puig was on the Dodgers, right? Like, and if he was up to bat, it's like, and if he did something good, it would feel good being from LA and seeing that happen, even not as a Dodger fan. So it'd be nice. I'm not saying that teams have to build their teams this way, but in an ideal world, the Dodgers would have a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of that, actually, now that you mention it, because I think Tatis Jr. and just what they were doing, I think it's just the beginning of it. I think when you think about Ken Griffey and what he did, and even Puig and what he did, to us, it was like, wow, that's really dope. That's pretty confident of you. That's very, like, it just felt cool to see that. But I do get that they were playing in a time, you know, in Puig not too long ago, where they were scrutinized for it. And that's why, I guess, in a weird way, they were kind of villainized for that. Yeah. But, you know, not in a terrible, horrible way, but I feel like there is going to be a turning point now, because I see it with San Diego and Atlanta. So it's only a matter of time before it catches on for the rest of the league.
Yankees,
but it's going to happen.
Let the Yankees be the Yankees with their stupid ass rules about, you know, you can't grow your hair, no facial hair, et cetera, like all workmanlike. Fine. When you're the most winningest franchise in all of baseball, you can make up your own rules and nobody can say shit. I fine, whatever. You know, if somebody wants to, you're the villain for a reason. You know, so but that doesn't mean the rest of baseball has to be the same way. You know, it's like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL can be like that too, where they all try to be like the Patriots.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off, Alex.
Yeah, Alex was
you know what I mean? Like,
good.
It's like,
yeah, you're right.
I see that with the Patriots, where it's like the Patriot way and this and that, and they make every other team feel inferior or whatever. And now you're seeing the Patriots look like they look
how's
now.
That Patriot way working out now?
We'll get to that. We've been talking 50 minutes on this Dodgers
50 minutes.
And I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Because they deserve it.
Congratulations.
32 years. I mean, thank you for sticking around and listening to this episode for 52 minutes of us just Dodger talking and going on to other things. But before we move on to more stuff, I just got to shout out to a couple of Dodgers who I feel deserve to win a World Series in Dodger Blue. I'm so disappointed they never got a chance to. And that's Russell Martin and Andre Ethier, two Dodger legends during my time that I was really proud of. They're legends.
Legends.
During my time.
We're just making anybody a legend. Sean Green was more of a legend than those two dudes.
4 home runs in one game.
Sean Green was
unbelievable. Another one. Thank you. I was going to ask you guys. Thank you.
Eric Karros.
Eric Karros. Dude, I have an Eric Karros rookie card signed by
Matt
him.
Kemp. Exactly. Good call, Donald.
I was about to ask you guys, who do you feel is the Dodger legend in our time, because it's been 32 over the past 32 years, who deserved to win a world title but didn't.
I don't know if deserve is like the right word, but who
if put in
you're
their
asking
time in Dodger blue and never got over the hump.
If you're asking who embodied the Dodgers during that 32 years,
in the sense where like they were close but didn't get over the hump because they just didn't have all the tools to get there.
Adrian Gonzalez, man,
exactly.
That guy represented everything you wanted. Again, speaking on all the things we're talking about, right?
Right.
That guy represented a lot of the stuff that we look for, and I liked Adrian Gonzalez as just a baseball fan.
Jose Lima. Lima time, dude. 2004, that NLDS, he got them the only win, dude. That was my boy back in there. Lima time.
Jose Lima. I mean, again, Sean Green was a personal favorite of mine. Again, you have to understand for the listeners out there, I'm a diehard Seattle Mariners fan, but I live in LA, so I grew up with these players.
Correct.
And I know these players like the Todd Hollinsworths of the world, the Raul Mondesi's of the world.
The 5 rookies of the year.
Yeah, dude. Like, I remember these Kareem Garcias, like Ramon Martinez,
Pedro Martinez before he went to the Red Sox.
Pedro, let's not bring up Pedro, man. Pedro left the Dodgers and made them regret that shit.
Absolutely. No, I could, looking back now that we finally won a World Series.
They kept the wrong Martinez, bro.
Right. They picked Ramon over Pedro. You're right. Delino DeShields.
Senior. How about the years that Rafael Furcal? Was a great Dodger. Even though the steroids, I mean, we got even the steroids room, right? Eric Gagne, right?
Game over. Little welcome to the jungle, Guns N' Roses right now.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many players, dude. You had a third baseman, Todd Zeile.
Yeah.
Todd Zeile.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was the last good for the third baseman before Adrian Beltre.
Yeah. Yeah, Adrian Beltre.
Seattle.
Shout out to Adrian Beltre. Shout out to Adrian Beltre for picking the Mariners over the Dodgers.
Hey, man, that money.
Free agency.
That money. Paul DePodesta didn't want to fork it over for him.
Money talks, yeah. I mean, of course, Vin Scully, man, the greatest Dodger of all time. You wish he would have been calling the game.
Deserves. I hope on the Dodger Blu-ray that I just purchased today from MLBshop.com has a little Vin Scully bonus audio coverage on there for the Dodger Championship Blu-ray there.
I'm sure it'll have something special from him, a little mic drop moment.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Yeah. Vin Scully, man.
Yeah.
Shout out. Yeah. Shout out to all those great Dodgers.
Shout out to Vin Scully.
Yeah. Congrats, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sonny. And that's it for our LA Dodgers World Series special recap. Sonny, Donald, thank you guys for celebrating with me. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Enjoy it.
That champagne is flowing, guys.
Finally did it. We finally did it.
Oh, I'm so happy, guys. Thank you so much for riding with us. Good. West Box Score. Check us out on Instagram at West Box Score. Subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts downloaded. See ya.
Peace.
Later.